Welcome back to Fox Fight Amplified. Joe Vigil is here today with a story that we've discussed a lot on here, and that is the rise of the popularity of e-bikes, but what comes along with that is the rise in injuries. And I remember how many months ago it was, you did a story, you went to, I think, Sunrise Hospital, and you asked them, they said, gosh, these numbers are out of control. And then we hit the new year, and now they're really out of control.
Yeah, they are. So, I've been over there so many times, I don't even know exactly how many. It's probably 3, maybe 4, but just recently. So here are the numbers. So 254 total injuries at Sunrise Trauma in 2025. That was for all of 2025. Right now we're at 424, and we still have more than 5 months of the year left. 424. They're estimating maybe 60 to 65 every month, and they're so confident that they're really not slowing down, that they're now projecting out, and they estimate they'll have maybe 780 injuries by the end of the year.
And are these, do they break it down, or do they know the ages of the people that are mostly coming in with these injuries?
Well, I believe, if my memory serves, about a third might be the teenagers, and then a lot over that. But UMC has also higher numbers as well. And I know that year to date, about 28 people who are 14 and under were injured. And the injuries range, from kind of minor things, but to serious head trauma, in a lot of these cases, traumatic brain injuries, they say maybe 20 to 30% of the people are wearing helmets. That's it. The rest of them aren't.
And the numbers, I remember when they broke it down, that was like the critical injuries, or those people, very few of them were wearing helmets.
Yeah, I mean, very few in general. So, PedSafe Vegas told me this as well. So if you're 18 or under 18, I should say, you have to wear a helmet on things, period. Over 18, you don't have to. Again, people could make the argument either way. If you're older, that people argue for not wearing one and wearing one. But the numbers show if you're not wearing one, you can really suffer some serious injuries.
And it looks to be like the numbers will only continue to go up, unfortunately. And that is just because, anecdotally, I mean, we're seeing the numbers here, the injuries, but just anecdotally, the number of e-scooters or e-devices, let's say, because there's lots of talk over what's what, on the roads is just... Every day you see more. Now, I know we're in summer, so you got a lot of teenagers that are not in school when we're maybe coming to work in the middle of the day.
Right.
But just in general, going around town on weekends, you're seeing them all over the place.
Oh, yeah. I mean, I was telling someone about a week ago, I saw 2 kids on an e-scooter. One was holding on to the other from behind and no helmets. And they were barely 13. I mean, if I had to take a guess. Video that we shot the other day, or someone shot for me, I should say, was a girl, I believe it was on Flamingo or Tropicana, and she was going down the street, keeping up pace with a truck in the right-hand lane of the street, and with no helmet on.
Yeah. And I know some of these have limiters on them that can only go a certain amount of miles an hour. I'll be honest, I used to use the ones you could rent when I lived in Milwaukee and get around downtown because I lived down there. And it was always hesitant to take them on the big streets. You try to stay on the smaller streets. You have to deal with potholes there, which you don't have to deal with as much here. We had some protected bike lanes as well. But those had a limit of like 15 miles an hour. Some of these are going as fast as like 30 or more.
Well, more 50, 60 try. Well, the way Henderson breaks it down, if they're 750 watts or higher, or 28 miles per hour or higher, that's basically considered an e-motorcycle. And which are illegal on the roads. You can't be on public parks, trails, roads. Anything under that, 750, less than 28, that has pedals is considered an e-bike. Now, that's from Henderson Police. Other jurisdictions may have a different situation. But in the motorcycles, the e-motorcycles, they have pegs and they don't have pedals. So over 750 watts, higher than 28 miles per hour, and pegs would be considered an e-motorcycle, according to Henderson Police.
A lot of the cities are having to come up with new legislation on this. Even the state's looking at stuff.
Yeah, I think, initially, it was just kind of a free-for-all out there, and that's why, people, communities made some changes and put some laws into place. In fact, in Henderson, parents can be cited if they, buy one of these illegal devices, or a device that they say is illegal to drive on the road. And we just talked about how they were towing a lot of these devices, 39 of them. and then you just have to get them back like you have to get a car back. If your car is towed, you have to go get it back, and then then you face the fines and everything else. So Henderson really cracking down because people have been hurt and killed on these devices, and that's what they're trying to stop.
And I was telling you at one point, I live over by the district, and I was seeing the security people there chasing mostly young kids down and saying, you can't use these anymore here. The owners have said that's enough, and I'm sure a lot of that has to do with liability and the other things that could happen with these. I know you've got kids that are sort of in this age. They don't have them. They got other things.
Yeah, don't have them.
But do you hear them talking about like their friends at school are into these or?
Well, my daughter, where she used to go to school, I won't mention the school, but there are a ton of people after school and before school riding their e-bikes, scooters, and those kind of things to school. Like if you go out there in the morning, I guess it's just a flood of them, And so I talked to officials when I did my story. The Sunrise officials basically said it's not just the people on the e-bikes and motorcycles and scooters that need to be careful, but drivers as well. You can't hear some of these. They're different. It's not like a big Harley's coming up behind you. That's a Harley and it's right by, and you should pay attention. But they just kind of come out of nowhere. And if you get caught in a situation, it could be your fault. Or it may not be your fault, but bottom line, you could hurt somebody, and so it's always a good idea. Sunrise says to make sure you're paying a lot of attention out there.
And we'll wrap it up with again. They recommend, and I think it's common sense for a lot of people, to really wear a helmet. This is not like your regular pedal bike that you might get up to 10 or 12 miles an hour if you're pedaling hard. These go pretty quick, and you could really get hurt.
Yeah, they've said that before, and we've talked about that. In fact, some people say you should be wearing motorcycle helmets for these speeds. You get a bike helmet, for a lower speed, it will probably help you, if you fall, period, but it doesn't have the protection that a motorcycle helmet would have at a higher speed, 40, 50, 60 miles per hour. And sometimes people are crashing and, they're going that fast.
Well, we'll keep an eye on the numbers because unfortunately they continue to go up. And as we mentioned, these are just 2 medical centers that we've really talked to across the valley. There are so many more that are seeing patients with this. So the advice, obviously, wear a helmet and follow all the rules of the road and watch those too, because those are changing also consistently. Joe, thanks for being here, and we'll see you next time on Fox 5 Amplify.